Getting juicy.
Because I've been listening to Dax Shepard, who has podcasts, The Armchair Expert, and he always starts with like, what, like as low as he can go. Welcome to Getting Juicy. Every time he tries to go low.
Welcome.
How low can you go?
How low can I?
I love it. Oh.
It's gonna be my mic over here. There we go.
Viewing.
How low can you go?
How low can you go? How are you doing?
I am doing all right. I feel quite tired actually, but I feel also very calm as I sit in my cross-legged Sukhasana easy posture.
Good. That's
Yes.
good. I can't wait. Speaking of easy posture, this is never, I'm always in the most uncomfortable wooden chair. You can't even sitting on, but it's so uncomfortable. And just because I want the backdrop there of this painting, but one day, and my husband is listening, I'm not trying to put any more pressure on him, but one day our spare bedroom will be done. He's laughing. One day our spare bedroom will be done. And I will have a legitimate little office space and I can put like, you know, whatever I want in my background. And I'm super stoked about that. So I'm just going to keep praying to the Italian contractor gods, AKA my husband. What's this? Dude, how do you think of Italians?
No, but I was trying to do like The Godfather, like kind of like where they hold the cigar and it's like.
Yeah, neither of us smoke, but sure.
No, not at all. I went to steal it, but it's like like that would be more realistic as a smoker than like me trying to be like this. Like,
oh, see, I just thought you were going from experience.
well, I was.
Yeah, exactly. God. So,
oh man,
we're going to call this, I guess, coffee chat, although you don't have your coffee with you.
No, I've got my ratchet red plastic cup of water.
What? Up water?
Of water.
Of water. Oh, Jesus.
Would you like to buy another consonant?
Would I like to buy some new ears, apparently?
Well, if the price is right.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh my goodness. So yeah, so
funny.
Like in Vancouver these days.
Vancouver is just like the same as it's always been for me, I guess, because I mean, yeah, smart ass answer without trying to be a smart ass. No, like I mean, it's our case counts, as you can tell, I mean, are like 500 or whatever a day.
It's funny that you went right into the pandemic when I asked you how's it going in Vancouver these days.
That's true. I immediately thought about COVID. Isn't that interesting?
It is interesting because I actually thought you were going to go into weather. The weather.
Oh, well, now it's going to be synonymous with weather for sure. It's like, and it's -3 degrees and 500 cases. Good morning.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Weather. Well, the weather is clear and there's very much overcast and clouds. No rain or hail, which hail is not even hail in BC. Like,
yeah,
it's a joke. I think we had like 1 second of hail, and I was like, oh, it's gone.
I don't know if this is just a BC thing or just a specifically Vancouver thing, but people love to talk about the weather.
I know because it's a short, shallow, relatable, universal conversation that everybody can look like that they're being personable when they really don't give a shit.
True. Or is it just a Vancouver thing because it's raining all the time and people just, I don't know. I don't really know.
I always hear people complain about the weather and it drives me insane. I'm thinking, stop your bitching, stop your complaining. You're living in a city, whether you chose to live here or not. Most of you did choose to live here, considering I'm one of the rarities that's a local Vancouverite that actually embraces our weather climate. Thank you very much. And why the hell are you complaining? It's not going to do anything. So save your damn complaining and just appreciate the fact that you can fucking breathe and that you're having a conversation with another human for existence for once.
You would hate You would hate me because
Oh,
I complained all the time because I was very affected by the rain and by the weather, but particularly about from the gray. Like we've talked about this before.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Or sad, right?
Yeah,
Well, what's the A stand for again?
effective.
Effective.
Thanks, Adriana.
Thanks, Adriano. Seasonal affective disorder, and
Yeah. But you know what though? But that makes sense though. Not to cut you off, but because you know what? I don't get affected by the weather in the fall, the winter, and the spring. It's only in the summer. So I have summertime sad.
see, so you can't be judging these people.
No, it's true. I just forget when that summer is so short in Vancouver that it's only like the 2.5 months of really like late June to like late August or mid August that I'm like,
Absolutely. And imagine, so the people that really do not embrace or get very affected by the weather between the rest of the months of the year.
no, it's true. It's true because my mom gets affected by it too, though. And that might be one reason why I'm so cardinally hardwired is that my mom is always complaining about the weather. It's too cold. I had a hot flash, blah, 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 la, 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 la. I'm like, you and everybody else. Like, can we talk about something else?
Elena.
Ilana.
Shit.
Everyone gets her name wrong. It's not just you.
Oh. And I'm sure that's so annoying. Okay, now we're getting into totally different topics. This is so annoying with like, you know, if you're like Kristen or Kirsten or Kirsten.
Oh, I know.
Or like, ugh.
Or Rachel or Rachel or Rochelle or Rachel.
Right. So many of those.
Or Achel.
Achel? It's funny because when I used to hear in school, when I did go to school, and it's funny because you were just talking about yesterday how somebody was a little bit irked that you didn't actually go to post-secondary school, which I didn't even either necessarily. I went to the School of Life. I took life lessons.
Yeah.
But when I remember being in elementary school and someone would say, we're talking about racism, and they'd say something was about racial slurs or racial. And I was oh yes, what? Racial? What? Because I thought it sounded like my name. So
yeah.
It was very kind of triggering.
So how many people have been racist towards you?
Right? No. I mean, well, oh God. Okay, of course, now I'm going into some deep trauma about...
Sorry. Whoops.
No. I mean, you know, I think that... Oh God, now we're getting into some really serious conversation perhaps, but coffee talk, you just never know where it's gonna land.
Coffee talk.
So random. Coffee and we're so like ADD right now. Coffee and bagels and cream cheese. I am the worst at accents. Do not ever ask.
And lox. Don't forget the lox.
Oh, you're bad at accents too.
Oh, I'm horrible at accents. I can only do Valley Girl, and I can do I can, not to sound even more racist, but I can do a decent like Indian accent. South Indian? I don't know if it's West or South or East Indian.
Do it, but then is that like just instigating and
yeah, we'll get a lawsuit for sure.
Okay, no.
Yeah, no. But I'm decent at that, and I can definitely do like a nerd dweeb.
Okay, let's hear your nerd dweeb. I'm putting you on the spot.
My name is Rachel Rosen. I'm a total nerd and
What? Oh my God. Who did you there's no words. I don't know if that's good or bad, or I'm not sure.
means I'm on brand, so that's awesome.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think of do you watch The Simpsons, or did you watch The Simpsons?
Yes.
There was always this scientist guy, and I don't know his name.
Yes. Yeah, Ned, right?
Glasses, probably.
Oh yeah. Flavin.
Exactly. And so whenever I hear, like, I think of nerds or dorks.
Yes.
Are dorks. Like, come on. We really are. I think of like riboflavin.
Yeah, exactly. Riboflavin. Formaldehyde.
Yeah, exactly.
Melatonin.
Right.
Croissants.
Oh my God. This is actually kind of reminding me a little bit of our first random conversation, our very first podcast episode, which was a little bit all over the place and scattered. And we're kind of going to our roots. We're digging.
Yeah, we need to come back to them.
This movement is, but
we need to come back to them.
Where actually one of my really good friends who will be on the show in a couple of months was doing his research, and he listened to the very first episode in the car while he was driving, and he just said, because I said, oh my God, okay, well, which episode did you listen to? He said, oh, the first one. I was like, oh gosh. Like, now I feel like that was so long ago.
It was.
Well, it wasn't even that long ago. 4 months ago. But it's
a long time. We grow a lot. You and I grow every day, and some people never grow. So when we grow every day, 4 months is a lot.
Yeah, and we've put in a lot of content since then. But yeah. It was nice to hear, but maybe it's just because he does know me, and he said he had a lot of like legitimate laugh out loud moments in the car. I thought, okay, great.
Yeah, because we weren't. Not that we're trying at all now. We're just being ourselves. But when you're just like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, we're just talking. That's, again, one of the inspirations for our podcast is the conversations that you and I have on our own because of how ridiculous they are. So it's important that we maintain that so we can keep sharing those, just us as two Jewish best friends, you know?
Speaking of ridiculous.
Oh, is the bra coming off? Is the bra coming off?
I don't really wear bras.
Do I get to finally see your boobs?
I lost it. No, you're scared of boobs.
Yeah, I'm terrified. That's why I'm preempting it for me. Ooh, tissue. Oh my God, does it have Adriano's number on it?
It has my sweat on it.
Oh, I love that. Adriano, get ready.
This morning, like when I drink coffee, it affects me. Like
yes.
I've said I thought I'm wearing a light colored sweater, so I'm like some tissue or some.
Oh my God! You know what? You should consult my friend Nadia, who we had on the show, Nadia Petroskaya, and tell her that she should make coffee sweaters.
Yeah. What does she do apparel though?
I don't know, but she does fabric.
Oh, she does. That's right. That is right. I was thinking about her CBD oil, but of course she does the period panties.
So you could do like hot flash sweaters.
Yeah. Again with the Hiiro. Did you not learn?
No.
Obviously not. You don't tell a woman who is not yet 40, and you don't yet put hot flashes in the same sentence or in the vicinity of that woman. And you
what about cold flash?
Jesus Christ. Okay, bye. Click.
I love being a gay man. So much.
You can get away with it just because you're gay?
No. No, but I can get away with it with you, and that's all that matters in the context of this conversation.
So just thank God we're not in the same room together. Can you imagine?
It would be hilarious. You'd be like pushing my shoulder. You'd be slapping me. I'd be calling you many different names, many different pet names.
Yeah.
We'd be patronizing to each other. I mean, like, it would be freaking hilarious.
Are Jews normally pretty physical in that sense? I'm just trying to think of like, you know, where I get my feistiness from too,
we've sure received our fair share of physical abuse, so probably.
Oh geez, I didn't even think about that.
But dark humor aside, though, probably true.
Yeah.
Right?
We're so bright. Now we're so dark. Now
right.
Great. Now we're so dark.
Right, exactly. That's the thing. We're very much on the spectrum of polarities. That's why our podcast is so different, I think, because we're not afraid to go there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Actually, and just because earlier, you know how I said about a trauma?
Yeah.
Oh, that triggered something. Well, I'll share it because you just kind of brought up, again, we're talking about Judaism, or not really Judaism, but the DNA of being Jewish, the cultural aspects of it, perhaps. When I was, how old was I? I don't know if I've shared this before, even in the first episode, but I was, God, 9 or 10, perhaps, in elementary school. A girl that I was friends with at the time, and then decided that, one day she liked me, the next day she just wanted to make my life a living hell and turned all of my friends against me. And I think it was because, now looking back, I'm just setting the stage, excuse me, setting the stage. Now looking back, I know for a fact, my mom would tell me years later that she had a really poor childhood and home life, but I didn't know. I was really young. So I think there was a bit of a shred of jealousy there, and of my family, being so-called happy-go-lucky and full of love and all that kind of stuff. And she would come over to my house and probably not want to leave, but then decided one day that I don't know, it was too much for her. And yeah, so I was bullied like pretty much every single day by her and her little posse for at least a year. But one of the main instances that I'll never forget, and speaking of like racism that starts at such an early age. Okay, first of all, what I want to point out is she is half Jewish. So she was apparently, and this is what I remember, and I'm like 99.9% certain, her father, Hungarian Jews. Her mother, I don't think ever converted and wasn't. So I don't know how much she was raised within the household, but there's definitely some shred of that in her lineage. And one day I was walking down the hallway and I distinctly remember she called out to me, and I was like leaving school or something. And she goes, "Hey, Rachel, if you were," and this was like in the late 80s, early 90s, something like, if you were around, like, what would it be, like 50 years ago, you'd be dead because of the war. Like, it was just like, "Hey, Rachel, like, you'd be dead like 50 years ago." And and it cut so deep, mostly because, I mean, obviously there was such a such a hatred there. Like, why you would hate someone so much at such a young age that you felt like you had to say something like that. And it was, and actually in a strange way, quite profound for a 7 or 8-year-old, or under the say something that like specific.
Yeah, right.
So, but like I said, she came from some sort of Jewish, so I thought, I was like, that just doesn't, weird. Like, why are you saying that to me? And I was thinking to myself, like, and I at the time, and I was so young, not to come with a comeback like instantaneously, but I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, so would you though. So, I don't know where I'm going with that. I just wanted to share that, but yeah. Or I don't know what kind of conversation that would open, or can of worms that would open, but
wow.
Interesting.
Thank you.
What we learn, I think, from our parents, because obviously she learned I mean, you're a product of your environment and your upbringing, all those kinds of things. But
wow. No, I didn't know that. I appreciate you sharing that and feeling comfortable to reveal that part of your past, because it is a traumatic experience. Absolutely, it is.
Oh, it was that whole era of my life, so to speak. But I guess what still shocks me to this day, which shouldn't shock me, it's just me being naive, I guess, is that still all exists. And it's almost more prevalent than it has been in quite a long time, as we all know.
No, you're right. It very much has. And yeah, I have no words. For once, I have no words. Wow.
It starts with children too.
Yeah, it does. It starts with children and those patterns that are not reversed or caught early enough until they're so hardwired. And our hardwired patterns in mental health start from being in the womb. And Janine Burley talks about that too. It starts from the moment that you are conceived, even how you were conceived, even before you become anything, even when your parents are fucking each other. Like, it all makes a difference.
Well, it's all energy.
Yeah.
Intentions, energy.
Yeah.
Environment, all those kinds of things. Yeah. Crazy. But anyway, I know there's a bit of a damper on for the morning, but
but that's, again, and I've said it like a few times already, but I'll say it again. I love the fact that we can talk about everything, and that's why having this podcast, and even people ask me, when they say, "Oh, you have a podcast, I love podcasts. What makes your podcast different?" And not on like, "Oh, what makes your podcast different?" It's like, no, there's tons of podcasts. Like, why would I listen to your podcast? And I say, because we literally are not afraid to go to any extent of conversation with ourselves or our guests, and we're two best friends that know each other inside out and have only continued to learn more about each other from being on a podcast together. And then they're like, "Oh, okay, where can I find it?"
That's awesome. I know it is. It's interesting as you embark or you start these kinds of projects. In the beginning, you kind of have an idea, hasn't really quite formed yet, and you kind of are like, your mission statement, so to speak, does kind of change a little bit, and you have to learn how to go, roll with that and then tweak things. And I feel like we're kind of now at the point where we do have our so-called mission statement more down pat, and we kind of have an understanding of what people enjoy, what people are attracted to about the podcast. And now we can sort of preach about that, right?
Yeah, of course. And what's great is that we're just preaching about authenticity, vulnerability, transparency, and uncensorship.
Yeah. And I feel, not to knock us down a notch, but I feel like there are a lot of people doing that though right now too.
Are there?
Yeah, there are. There's a lot of people that are definitely now kind of. This is a funny example, but for example, like Jay Manuel, like I'm only saying this because I just saw that he just came out with that book.
Yeah.
Right? And so I guess my point is that now people that are even in the industry of like that shiny, glittery model or whatever it is, like the thing that you think is like the most egotistical and surface-based professions are now, everybody's like got this vulnerability
True
approach now.
No, it's true. It's trending, which
exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
What's kind of neat though is that even with that said, you can so tell when something is authentically shared in a vulnerable way, or when something. Sorry, I should say the other way. When something is vulnerably shared authentically, and when it's done just for looking like it is, you can see it, right? And so I'm not discrediting. I know Jay Manuel for sure is authentic in that sharing. I know him enough as a human being just from seeing his Instagram community. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that think they're being that way, or they're trying to be, but they're still leaving something out that's really true to their story, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that others are not doing that, but I think that you and myself have an ability to really relate with individuals and to relate to each other, and bring it into a scope that's really super raw and unapologetic.
Completely agree. I wasn't like, it was just kind of like stoking the fire a little bit because it's like you said, like why us? Why would you listen to us?
No, true.
Not just a lot of podcasts, but there's a lot of people trying to do a similar format, perhaps.
Yeah, but there's only one of me and one of you.
Exactly.
And that's the secret sauce that,
That's the secret juice.
That's the secret juice. Raise the roof, raise the shed.
Are you on that side if I point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This guy right here.
This woman right here.
Yep.
She and hers.
So, yeah, well, let's, this was just going to be like a shorter kind of talk chat. I was going to say that both those words at the same time.
Yes. Daily juice.
I don't know about daily, but we talk every day, but
yeah, this was the juice.
The juice. Yeah. Squeezing out the juice.
Yes. Oh my God. The last few drops.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
Or the last sip.
That sounds like the Last Supper, or like, I don't know, not into it.
the last few drops.
I like that, or squeezing out the juice, or something like that.
Yeah, we'll play with it.
We'll play with it, folks.
Yeah.
Well, everyone have a wonderful day, or night, or morning, or middle of the night, or week, or weekend, or a year. Whenever. Yes. are watching this.
Yes.
And we'll see you soon.
We'll see you soon.
Content.